Easthill Town Hall, Tourism and City Life Office. Fiona speaking. How may I help you?
Yes, hello. I don't live in Easthill, but I've just been offered a job there for a few months. It means I need to arrange to move to Easthill for the summer.
Where would you like to start?
Perhaps with accommodation?
Okay, Easthill's certainly not the easiest place to find accommodation in.
Oh dear.
But I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not that big a town, and the centre, being historic, is quite small, so demand is very high, and that's reflected in prices.
I only want a single place.
What I'd recommend to keep costs down is a shared flat. The rent would be much lower than a one-bedroom place, particularly in the centre.
I really want to maintain my privacy and get at least, say, a studio flat.
Well, that might be a compromise. I don't have any specific details. If you were already here, you could visit some of the local estate agents to get details of studio flats. But I do know that if you go onto New Home, as in oneword.com, that site has quite a few places, and there are pictures and plans and so on.
Okay, I'll just write that down. That's great, thanks.
One thing to be aware of is a new piece of legislation which means that landlords are responsible for ensuring their tenants are who they say they are. So any landlord will ask you to provide documentary evidence, and not just your passport, etc., as they always have, but now of your employment.
Right, thanks. And I guess I'll need to pay by standing order through my bank?
That's the normal way, yes. With the rent, do get clear what is and isn't part of the standard price. You'll need to know if sheets and towels are provided or whether you'd have to allow extra. Bills such as electricity are always included, but I think the phone will always be an extra. Right.
Now, what about transport?
Easthill has really good bus services. They're frequent and they go everywhere, and they're how everyone gets around. But they are quite expensive if you pay for each trip, so it's better to get a pass.
Okay.
They're available as 7-day, that's the shortest, 30-day, 90-day, which would perhaps suit you the most, and 1 year, which works out the cheapest, but might be too long for you.
Yes, it definitely would.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes, I'd like to keep fit, so I'd like to know what health clubs there are in Easthill.
Okay, well, there are 2. Bloom's Leisure Centre and also the Good Life Centre. I've got some information here about them.
Would I be able to try them before actually joining?
Let's see. Yes, one of the staff at Bloom's will show you around if you go along, and then you make your decision about joining. While at the Good Life you can, they offer 2 fitness classes at no charge, so you can get a taste of what they're like. This isn't for specialist classes such as Tai Chi, it says.
It's something anyway. I'd hope to meet a few new friends at a health club, you see.
Oh yes, both clubs have cafes. If you do join Bloom's, you can elect to be a gold card member, which means you'd be entitled to a discount of 10% in the cafe there. Actually, the cafe in the Good Life is shut at the moment for refurbishment, but I guess it might be open again by the time you move here.
Does it say much about the equipment available?
Bloom's have a lot of different machines, so you can choose exactly what you want to do, while the Good Life doesn't have quite so many machines, but they're carefully sequenced so that you follow special routines. It says that these get you really fit.
Oh, sounds interesting. And I love swimming. Do they have pools?
Yes, the one at Bloom's is full size and it's outdoor, so it used to be rather chilly, except in the summer, but they've improved the situation by making it a heated one, so it feels as if you're indoors while you're swimming. The Good Life pool is just a small one, but they have covered tennis courts.
I don't play tennis. Maybe I should start. Are there trainers to help you?
Bloom's, yes, at any time, but Good Life... No. Well, the trainers are fully qualified, but you must see them by appointment, not just any time.
That seems fair enough. You've been very helpful. Thank you.
Not at all. Now, would you like me to send you the information you asked about? Travel broadens the mind. Well, that's what they often say. But many people, the people who are careful to describe themselves as travellers rather than tourists, claim that this is only the case in the right circumstances. And a package holiday that has you sitting on the same beach in front of the same crowded hotel for 14 consecutive days doesn't broaden the mind. There must be another way. There is. My old friend Peter, an architect, recently returned from a 3-month trip to Africa. Instead of just flying out on a bargain flight and hanging out on beautiful beaches or safari, he put his architectural training to good use and helped on a project to build a health centre for a group of villagers. He said he's made friends for life and that he knows he's contributed something of value to those people. And Peter's not alone. A survey that was published last month makes it clear that travel is changing. The idea of a tourist as someone who consumes, who takes, is being replaced by the idea of someone who gives. So tourists are thinking less about exactly where they go and more about what they do in the places they visit. The terms voluntouring and voluntourist, have come into currency recently, referring to this trend of mixing some tourism with some volunteer work. It seems to be a positive development, as long as you choose sensibly where to go and what to do. Wherever you do decide to go, be it tropical or in the Arctic Circle, you should try to put 2 or more things, projects or classes or whatever, together, so that if one doesn't turn out to be as interesting as you hoped, then at least the other should make up for it. One good thing about spending maybe a bit longer in a place is that you're more likely to learn some of the language while you're there. Now remember that the idea of giving as much as taking is important, so consider carefully what skills you have, how you could benefit a volunteering project. You won't be alone on these trips, so you need to be sure you can help the other people there over the period of time you spend there, long or short. Voluntourism also benefits you. The local people will look at you with interest. This stranger who's been transported into their midst, and usually they'll be happy, keen even to show you their way of life, the way they do things in their culture, and this will be very helpful for you. You can pay your own way, but it's also well worth investigating the possibility of getting sponsorship from a business. All sorts of businesses may be interested in the area you want to visit, and if they support you financially, the money you save will mean you can stay there for longer. Local people, moreover, may well see you as more important in this way than if you just turn up on your own account. But whether you get sponsored or not, the mixture of work in another country and a holiday there is a good one. The people who do this become more interested, more involved in the places, and so they are much more likely to return for further visits. So they commit more, invest more of themselves in the places. And a world in which many people care about other countries based on their own experiences is one that surely has a better future environmentally, as it means more people think about the implications of what they do. Well, that's the theory anyway. I read a newspaper article the other day that was questioning whether the trend for voluntourism will last a long time. It said that although people seem currently quite happy to spend their money directly on local communities, this is just a passing trend and it will soon be replaced by another one. I hope they're wrong about that. If you decide to go on a volunteering trip, research before you go. There are, at the moment, a bewildering range of schemes you could go for, from the very large to the very small, and you should check the organisers' history. See if they've been organising the trips for some time. You don't want to go for something run by people without any qualifications to do so. Some schemes involve spending time in very remote places, so security is important. It's always best to arrange your own insurance, rather than relying on general policies, and remember that your family will want you to be able to tell them exactly who they can get in touch with while you're away, if they need to get an urgent message to you or want to check that you're okay. And when you do go, pack carefully. Credit cards are not much used in jungles and distant mountain ranges. You don't get phrase books of tribal languages, and you don't find a handy pharmacist on street corners in the desert, so take your own medicines. Some people like to take a whole string of photos, but personally I think it's much better to take a journal and record your impressions in that, in words or sketches. That's the gift to yourself you'll be bringing back.
Hi Jill, how are you?
Oh, good, Desmond, good. Now we need to decide some things about our project, don't we?
Yes. By the way, Jill, I've been meaning to ask you, did you always know you were going to do social sciences?
Well, to be honest, no, it took me quite a while to fix on it. Why, did you know from the start?
Not completely, no. I mean, I didn't do it at school, obviously.
Oh, no, nor did I. I was quite drawn to the, physical world, like how things are made. And, there's a sort of ancient history to the industrial world we live in, isn't there? With the invention of the wheel, for example, through to high-spec computers today. So, although I wasn't a bit drawn to being an architect or doing archaeology, I wondered about the industrial side of design for some time.
Oh, that's surprising. I'd never have guessed.
Oh, and that's not all. There's a kind of earn lots of money side to me too. So I wondered if some kind of management role might suit me. And I spent quite a bit of time looking into diplomas and degrees in aspects of running companies, which I thought could be fascinating. But I'm quite allergic to too much computerization, and the information management aspects seem to dominate those courses. And that's really how I've ended up where I am.
Well, I was just choosing between social sciences and psychology, and I thought that was tricky.
But even having made the choice, I still find the course far from easy.
Yes, me too. I mean, I've been making some great friends here. Maybe too many, to be honest. And I'm glad I had a gap year before starting, so I got a bit of experience of the world and learnt to deal with my finances, because I see a lot of students really struggling with that.
Including me.
It's planning everything that's tricky for me. I can never decide what to concentrate in what order, which things are more important to get done first. So I go to lectures in the morning and that's fine, then I drift into the library and I'm not sure what to do. Then I see some friends in there and I get into trouble for trying to chat with them instead of keeping quiet and getting on with work. So I always seem a bit behind with the coursework.
Well, Desmond, that's not going to happen with this project we're doing together.
Oh, no, good. Right. Now, first up is the design of the experiment. Shall we work on that together?
I was thinking that there was more in your territory, that you're the more than numbers man.
I don't mind doing it, certainly. I don't think it's going to be very easy. There are so many variables to take account of, aren't there? So I'll need to get some help from the statistics tutor. And as I'm not convinced of my powers, as you seem to be...
Well, you seem to get on with them quite well. If you deal with that, then I could be in the library looking into the sorts of research projects that have been done in this area before. Or would you like to tack that onto what you're already doing?
I think your perspective would be more useful on this. Shall we say we'll combine forces for it?
Okay, because there would be quite a heavy reading load.
Once the experiment's structure starts to become clear, we should check with the IT section if they'll be able to help us at all in setting it up. I don't know how easy it is to talk to them.
Oh, not very, I think is the answer to that. However, I've got a friend there, so I could sound her out. She's a helpful sort of person.
Oh, good.
Now, we agreed that as well as the hard numerical data, we'd set up some small focus groups to get the qualitative data, didn't we? Should we do that as a pair?
I agree. We'll conduct the group sessions together, but it's fairly straightforward to arrange the sessions, isn't it?
Well, true. I'll take care of that then. And then, finally, we need to think about the presentation.
Oh, I have no ability in public speaking, but whereas you...
Well, we can divide up the sections.
I'll sort out the slides and the animations and the handouts, everything. If you do the talking, I agree that it should be a joint effort. It's just that we should play to our strengths.
It's a deal.
Okay, now we should go off and then... Today, on Nature Focus, we're looking at the river turtle and the threats it's facing in today's world. The two main places we see the giant river turtle are South America and Southeast Asia. The best way to see the big rivers of South America, such as the Amazon and the Orinoco, is probably by plane. But then you might miss the strange, shallow craters that cover the sandbanks along these rivers. These are the nests of the arrow turtles, and at night thousands of turtles rise up out of the river water and scuttle into these holes. The holes are around 90 centimetres in diameter, so the turtles, whose shells are about 75 centimetres in length, fit neatly. Enormous numbers of eggs are laid on the beaches. Since hundreds of females, each laying between 70 and 80 eggs, crowd together, it means that literally thousands of eggs fill the sandy nests waiting to hatch. A similar story is played out in Asia, where the river terrapins also lay their eggs commonly and in the open. The difference is that the terrapins, once they have used the nests, cover them over and then beat the sand down with their limbs, making an incredible sound like drums. The noise at night of many terrapins doing this is incredible and drowns out the sound of the river water. And the male terrapins are fascinating too. Throughout the breeding season, they are famous for the colour changes to their oddly shaped heads that take place. However, these wonderful creatures are under threat, and this has been the case for quite some time. As long ago as 1811, the scientist and explorer Alexander von Humboldt was a witness to the mass destruction of turtle eggs at the Orinoco River. The eggs made oil and the oil made money. He recorded that a jar contains 25 bottles of oil, each bottle being the production of 200 eggs, and allowing for the wastage of eggs damaged in the nest, 33 million eggs had been harvested to fill 5,000 jars. And that was a sight and a calculation that appalled him. And it appalled many others too. So there have been, over the years, various initiatives designed to protect turtles and terrapins from such slaughter. For example, the sultans of Perak in Asia ensured that the safety, at least to some extent, of the beaches for terrapins when they issued licenses to official egg collectors. These collectors would only collect eggs in numbers that were sustainable. However, the scheme, of course, vanished with the sultans, and despite efforts at protecting turtles, there are ever-growing demands for them, for pets in some countries and for food in others, and also heavily in traditional medicine in various parts of Asia. These levels of exploitation, unfortunately, far exceeded their ability to reproduce and so replace their lost stock. It takes a turtle a long time, many years, to grow from a baby or hatchling to an adult that can reproduce. And so the survival of eggs and hatchlings is crucial to the survival of the species. But the threat never stops being acute. Once adult, a female turtle can continue reproducing for a number of decades, provided they are not killed or injured. So the loss of even a single adult can mean many years of reproduction are lost forever. Is it all gloom? Well, there are some grounds for cautious optimism. There are some well-thought-out management systems in place which can help the stocks of threatened turtles and terrapins to rebuild. In Brazil, for example, the government has been encouraging and supporting the farming of river turtles, with the idea that this happens alongside the banning of the hunting of wild turtles. The idea of the scheme is to provide farmers with a one-off batch of hatchlings, which they are urged to keep until they become mature. This should mean that good quantities of turtle capable of reproducing come to the rescue of the species. Will it work? Let's hope so. The scheme has some doubters who point out that while the biology arguments for the scheme certainly do make sense, the farmers on the scheme, of course, have no experience of this kind of farming. That means it's impossible at this stage to know if the turtles they develop will be sufficiently marketable, and thus if the scheme will work well from an economic point of view. It may be that it has to rely on subsidies, and that would mean in the long term that it would probably fail. But it's certainly worth a try, and I hope to be back on this program in a few years' time reporting on its great success.